Ready? Let's do the work. Come to standing. Ah, ah. Oh, I have plans for Bobby. She has no idea. I have to give her a call.
Run, Bobby, run.
Ah. We begin in Tadasana with the weight even between both feet. As you're standing tall and standing mountain, we weight even between the ball of the foot and the heel, even between the right and the left foot, hands at heart center. Our practices I've designed so that we can connect with our own body, so that you can every day, every morning, you can actually check in with your own self. And I like to start with the body because that's the most easily accessible. You get up out of bed, you sit there and you kind of start with your body. We come into the breath and kind of know, hey, my left shoulder's a little tight but these practices that I've developed are designed to help you to continue to expand to as your attention and awareness gets more focused and you have more practice paying attention, then you can get a little bit more sensitive to your from the physical body to the energetic body and the energetic body to the emotional and or mental and or spiritual body. And so there are so many ways to go about this process, but that's my favorite way to go. I start with what can you feel? What can you do? How do you breathe? And then we go from there. So we're checking in, using our breath to help us know how much to do for this practice, remembering that the only thing that we have to do is breathe. Let's begin with one long, strong Om. Inhale. Ah. Samastiti here. Therapeutic Sun Salutation. Inhale, reach the arms skyward. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Gently bend the knees, sit the bottom back, hands to heart. Straighten the knees, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands to thighs. And as you bring the hands to the thighs, inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, flex round through the spine. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, flex round through the spine. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, flex round. Two more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round. One more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round. Strong to the legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Widen the stance. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit back as far as you can. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sit back. Checking in with the ankles, knees, and feet. Inhale, reach the hips, the spine, sit back. And if it feels okay, inhale, reach up. Tap the mat. We're dropping a little lower. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tap the mat. Checking the knees, ankles. Good. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tap. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tap. One more. Inhale, reach up. Placing the hands down onto the mat, wide fingers and palms. Push the floor away as you step back into the downward dog. Hold in your downward dog. Breathe. One. Feet parallel, the heels attempting to move to the mat. Breathe. Two. Make a muscle at your thighs. Stretch the arms long. Breathe. Three. Breathe. Four. And breathe. Five. Gently bend the knees as you inhale and exhale. Plantar flex the ankles. Push the top of your feet into the mat. This is a place of stability that I want you to work on. so that we're not just willy-nilly with the feet back there, but very actively plantar flexing through the ankles, very actively. It's almost like you were trying to straighten the knee, but since you're on your hands and knees, you're not going anywhere. Walk the hands so that they might begin to move towards wrists underneath the shoulders. That's a process, so take your time with that. Shoulders down to the pelvis, back of the head, ribs to ceiling. Moving through our cat-cow. Inhale, extension. Exhale, flex round. 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 Inhaling and exhaling, come back to neutral. Strong through that right arm. We're going to lift the left arm skyward out to the side for our thread the needle. And exhale, glide that left arm underneath your right. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, pattern your breath. Inhale as you reach outward. Exhale as you stretch underneath your body. Inhale, reach out to the left. Exhale, glide, and one more. Inhale, reach all the way up, and exhale, glide that left arm. Hold that left shoulder is pinned onto the mat. Breathe one. The back of that left hand presses onto the mat. Breathe three. That left arm is strong, very straight. Breathe four. Notice how the breath influences the rib cage. Breathe five. Now keep strong through that right hand on the mat. We inhale, reach the left arm up. And then exhale, the left hand comes down. Strong through the arms, left hand on the mat. Let's do that with the right side. Right arm reaches out. And exhale, right arm reaches underneath your left arm. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, glide. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, glide. Left arm underneath. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, glide that left arm. And one more. Inhale, reach all the way out to the side. And exhale, glide. Now hold that right shoulder onto the mat. Breathe one, pressing the back of that right hand. Breathe two, onto the mat. Feel that shoulder, the right shoulder. Breathe three, moving away from your right ear. Keep breathing four, and notice how the rib cage, your thorax are influenced. Breathe five. It's hard to move. It's hard to breathe with this little twist, so do the best you can. Left hand onto the mat. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And exhale, right hand down. Anchor the shoulders to the pelvis, curl the toes under, move into the downward dog. Hold steady. Breathing as you're stretching this body long, firm the thighs. Breathe two. We get upside down on purpose. Breathe three. And I want you to feel nice, Melissa. That looks good. Excellent, everybody. I want you to feel that connection. The ribs to the shoulders, the shoulder girdle. Breathe three. Breathe four. And five. Bend the knees as you inhale and exhale. Walk the hands slightly forward. Shift your hips forward as you inhale and exhale, and slowly lower down. Thighs, belly, chest. We start with our locust A. Press the top of the feet into the mat. Firm the buttocks. Breathe. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. Lifting the back of the head, shoulders, and the legs to the ceiling. Breathe one. Holding steady. Breathe two. So extension of the spine. Breathe three is such an important action. Breathe four. We use gravity as our resistance. Breathe five. Slowly lower. Changing the hand position for locust B. Wide fingers and palms. Don't forget the thumbs are wide also. And as we place the hands next to your ribs, draw the shoulders down away from your ears. Push the hands into the mat. We could stay right here with the forehead resting on the mat, the top of the feet into the mat. Push the hands into the mat. Draw the muscles. I'm squeezing the inner thigh muscles together. Breathe. I'm pulling in the abdominals gently into my torso. Breathe. And you can stay right here. And now I can push the hands into the mat. I haven't done anything else other than work my muscles. And you can stay here breathing, noticing where you are. And those of you who know Locust B might keep all of that we started and lift the torso. Breathe 1. So it's the chest lifts up with the head. Breathe 2. The legs lift up. Breathe 3. We're pressing through those hands into the mat as if you were pulling yourself forward. Breathe 4. Lots of really good work to do. Breathe 5, and then slowly lower. Cross your forearms and place the forehead on the back of the forearms and take a breath. When you're here, let go of all muscular effort and bring your attention to expanding. Inhale, expansion of the belly, ribs, and chest on the inhalation. And exhale, squeeze the ribs, belly, chest. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, squeeze the ribs, the belly, and the chest. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, squeeze the ribs, the belly, the chest. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, squeeze the ribs, belly, and the chest. Now, keep breathing. Make that your first and foremost focus. As you're inhaling and exhaling, squeeze the inner thighs together. As you're breathing, press the top of the feet into the mat, straighten the knees, make the thigh muscles firm. Keep breathing, draw the belly muscles in, and keep breathing that smooth breath. Decide if you're going to lift both thighs off the mat. Breathe 1. So I'm straightening my knees, legs together. Breathe 2, and the legs are thinking about coming up off the mat. Breathe 3. It doesn't matter if they ever come off, but you're working the muscles. Breathe 4. Squeezing the thighs, the buttocks, straightening the knees. Breathe 5. Inhale and exhale, releasing. Inhale, coming up onto your elbows. And exhale, notice his shoulders, move them down to your pelvis. Wide fingers and palms are Sphinx posture, and we're just moving into a moment of hyper or extra extension through the spine. And breathe. So still active through the feet. So I want you to firm the thighs, the buttocks, press the hands into the mat, the elbows, and lengthen the torso. Breathe 1. I'm looking down, not exactly way forward or up, but I'm looking eyes down, probably about a foot ahead of me or so. Breathe 2. Just working all the muscles. Breathe 3. And breathe 4. See, this is a great place for us to break into good muscular activation of our shoulder girdle. I have a choice. I could be right here, which is not taking advantage of the things that I have. So I'm going to press hands, pull the back of the head to the ceiling, press elbows, and use those scapular muscles. These are the muscles that connect your shoulder blade to your ribs. And these are the muscles, breathe, we're still here, that are going to help us have stronger upper body and a more supported head and neck area. All right, so here we are. Now, if it feels okay to you, we're still lengthening. We're going to bend the right knee, dorsiflex that right ankle, and invite that right heel to move to your right buttock. Breathe 1 while you're extending. Firm the right buttock. Breathe 2. Breathe 3. So we're strengthening the back of that right thigh and hip. Breathe 4. And lengthening the front of that right thigh. Breathe 5. Release that right knee bend. Change, switch sides. Dorsiflex the left ankle. Breathe 1. Flex that left knee. Breathe 2. Firm the buttocks. Breathe 3. Lengthen through the torso. Breathe 4. And breathe 5. Slowly release that left knee bend. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Now take a moment, rest down. We've been up in extension for a while. Just let your body rest and bring the breath. Deepen the inhalation if you can. And deepen the exhalation. by squeezing the ribs, the belly, all of the torso muscles. Expand as you inhale. And exhale, squeeze air out, squeeze muscles in your ribs, your abdomen, your chest. And inhale, expansion. And exhale, squeeze the ribs, the belly, and the chest. And one more, inhale, expansion. And exhale, squeeze the ribs, the belly, and the chest. Now, when you're ready, inhaling, come up onto your elbows once again. This time, we're going to wrap the hands. This is the web space between the thumb and your index finger. We're going to wrap it all the way around on either side with both arms. And if you can see by my side profile, my forearms are right about underneath my breast area, kind of right at my lower rib area. So that's how close I am. For those of you who are into the technicalities, my shoulder is beyond my elbow right now. That's on purpose for setting up this posture. Move the shoulders down to the pelvis. Now I'm going to curl my toes under, preparing my feet. Thighs are still on the mat. Lace the fingers. And as my pinkies are pressed into the mat and my forearms are thinking about pressing into the mat, I'm going to push the elbows into the mat. And while I do that, pulling my ribs, my belly button, back of the head, ribs to ceiling, and maybe even my pelvis. Thighs are still on the mat. And maybe my pelvis and some of my thighs off the mat. My knees are still on the mat. This is the beginning of forearm plank. So notice a variation. My knees are still on, and I'm peeling my ribs, my belly, my pelvis. Hold, breathe one. So we're just going slow. Breathe two, and you're deciding. Breathe three, how much to do. Breathe four. Breathe five. We're going to go for five more if it feels okay. Six. Strength through your body. Seven. Abdominals, shoulder girdles. Eight. Nine. And 10. Now from here, push back. Child's pose with the arms reaching overhead. I plantar flex my ankles. My ankles. Forehead rest down. Reach the arms forward. Breathe. This is another great place now we were doing a lot of extension. So right now, gradually move into the flexion of your knees, your hips. Breathe one. And your spine. Breathe two. Stretch your arms as far overhead as you are able to. Breathe three. Pay attention to your breath. Breathe four. It is powerful. And breathe five. Walk both arms over to the right. Let the hips drop to the left and breathe one. The power of our breath to mobilize our body systems. Breathe two. I want us to not overlook that power. Breathe three. It is a very central part of how we were designed. Breathe four. To move, to mobilize the internal organ structure. Breathe five. Massaging our insides. Walk both hands to the center as you breathe, and then walk both arms over towards the left. Big stretch along the right side. Breathe one. Take this opportunity. Breathe two. To notice. Breathe three. How breathing is influenced by our position of the body. Breathe four. And breathe five. Inhaling and exhaling, walk the hands back center. Wide fingers and palms come onto quadruped. Inhale and exhale, curl the toes under, move into our downward dog. Strong through the arms and legs, breathing one. Pushing the floor away from us. Breathe two. Lengthening through the spine. Breathe three. Thumbs and fingers wide. Breathe four. And breathe five. Inhale, look forward, walk the feet towards the hands. And exhale, drop the head down. Hands to thighs, inhale, come to tabletop, exhale, hold, get your bearings, and then strong through the legs, inhale, sweep all the way up, standing mountain, arms overhead, and exhale, standing tall and standing mountain, hands at heart center, shifting the weight onto that left foot. Use your eyes. So place your eyes on something to help us with balance. As we shift, we tippy toe the right foot, hold, breathe. Notice for this transition, oftentimes it's easy if we're not listening, if we don't take this opportunity to pay attention, that when we take, and I'm just going to go tippy toe, that oftentimes when we do that, sometimes there's a hip shift. And I want you to imagine, keep breathing, that you both feet are still on the mat. Your hips are the same level, and I'm putting my hands on my hips on purpose just so that you can see a visual here. Sometimes you can see it with my t-shirt, that as I move my weight over and try to keep my hips level, my t-shirt will stay level, but if I shift, you can see t-shirt kind of, my body fell. And so best as you can, keep your body level. Externally rotate through that right hip. For our purposes, breathe this left thigh, foot, ankle, knee, left hip, and the rest of the torso are lengthened and engaged. The right hip is also engaged, but in a different way. We're externally rotated. We've taken the weight off, but we don't want to lose that balance. Breathe 2. I know, we're working on it. Breathe 3, because we're not just working on the balance in that left foot. Breathe 4. We're working on the control of the left hip. Breathe 5. Now let's slowly release. Right foot comes down. Keep the breath. Shift the weight onto that right foot. Tippy toe, same idea. Let's not lose it. Keep it level as if that left foot was still on the mat. Externally rotate. And that's why, keep breathing, I will say, it doesn't matter if that left foot comes off the mat. Breathe 2. If keeping your left foot on the mat allows you to keep the hip from falling, allows you to keep the muscles active, breathe 2, then that's the place that you want to train. Breathe 3. Because as you keep doing that work, breathe 4, the muscles will go, oh, I know what you want. Breathe 5. They will develop their endurance, their strength, and it's not just strength, endurance. They got to be able to hold you there. And now release. Whew. I hope that makes sense. That's why I always tell you, it's okay if the foot stays on the mat. This is not, you're not failing. I'm going to try it again. Tree pose on this left side. So we shift the weight onto the left. Check your, if all that's happening, I want you to notice, tippy toe right, that the left hip muscles, externally rotate right, are getting tired, along with the foot and ankle. Breathe 1. Now focus on being strong through that left foot and ankle and thigh. Breathe 2, that left hip. Breathe 3. Yeah, you can change the arms if you want to. Breathe 4. Breathe 5. We're going for 5 more. Breathe 6. Breathe 7. Breathe 8. Breathe 9. And 10. Allow that right foot to come down. Shifting, weight over onto the right foot. Peel the left foot, tippy toe the left. Externally rotate. Find that levelness, that strength. Holding and breathe 1. Notice where your body's in space. Breathe 2. Decide what you want to do with those arms. Breathe 3. Head and neck in neutral. Breathe 4. Breathe 5. This is a place of learning. Breathe 6. Of creating not just muscular strength. Breathe 7. But also endurance. Your body, your muscles' ability. Breathe 8. To maintain the muscular effort or contraction over time. Breathe 9. or the muscle holding, and 10. Slowly release as you inhale and exhale. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. As you do so, moving into our extended side angle on the right. So right foot turns out, left foot faces forward. We're fairly wide in the legs. We bend that right knee. The right hand comes to the outside of that right thigh. There's a moment of rotation here. We let the left hand come to the left hip, opens the belly to the left chest. We look over that left shoulder. The left arm can reach out. We can hold here, or that left arm can go overhead. Wherever you decide, nice. Breathe 1. We're bending into that right knee. Breathe 2. We're firming the thighs. Breathe 3. We're checking in with the feet to feel the muscular arches lifted. Breathe 4. That's it. And 5. Strong through the legs. Inhale, push all the way up. Inhale and exhale. Other side. Left foot turns out. Right foot faces forward as you bend into that left knee. Firm your thighs. Left hand to the outside of that left thigh. Right hand to hip. Open. Belly and chest turn. Reach the right arm. Hold and breathe 1. Breathe 2. Breathe 3. Breathe 4. Keep your breath as your focus. And 5. Push through the strong legs as you inhale and exhale. Turning the feet face forward. Inhale, reach the arms skyward. Make a muscle start from the feet. Bend through the lower leg, through the thighs. Exhale, forward bend. Can you firm the thigh muscles? Bring your hands to the thighs. Firming the thigh muscles, hands to blocks in front of us or onto the mat, spine long. Inhale and exhale. Let your hands be on blocks or on the mat, and then let your torso drop forward for a big stretch. Breathe 1. Along the back of your thighs. Breathe 2. Making a muscle at the quadricep. Breathe 3. So we want to turn the muscles on in the thighs. Breathe 4. While you're here, breathe 5. Notice if the weight is just on your heels. Breathe 6. And can you shift the weight to try, breathe 7, to be even between the ball of the foot and the heel. Breathe 8, 9, and 10. If you have your blocks with you, walk them over to the right ankle. The hips are going to shift somewhat to the right, and walk over to the right ankle and drop over. Breathe 1. So notice, good, that sensation. Breathe 2. Your breath will always tell you, breathe 3, how you're doing. If you're challenged in keeping, breathe 4, soft, smooth, rhythmic breathing, then that's your body saying, hey, I don't trust this position. Breathe 5. And so I'll want you to pull back on whatever you're doing. Maybe don't go so far. Don't hold it for so long. Just listen to your body. Here we go. We're going to come back center. If you had blocks, bring them with you. Over to the left. Let the hips shift to the left. And breathe 1. Firm through the thighs. Breathe 2. Recognize how your feet are connecting to the mat. Breathe 3. This is a place where I like to lift the muscular arch. Breathe 4. Most places I like to lift the muscular arch whenever we're standing. Breathe 5. On the feet. Inhale and exhale. Come back center. Inhale and exhale. Gently bend the knees just enough so that we can tuck your tailbone underneath you and roll up slowly back into standing. And then when you're ready, inhale, reach the arms skyward. And exhale, hands to heart. Bend the knees, step the feet closer to each other. So our transitional movements are very important. When you are coming from head down, back up, take your time, put your eyes on something to help you keep your balance, and so that you're also listening. Ladies and gentlemen, we're listening. As I mentioned earlier, our practices are about awareness and paying attention. I want you to not be surprised by a change in your health status. I don't want that to be a surprise. These practices are designed to help you notice these little tiny things. The little tiny situation that it's so easy to want to ignore is where you reach down to reach for something and then you come up and you're like this. Like, okay, wait a minute. Your body's saying, hello, I don't tolerate you dropping your head down quickly and then coming back up. And I'm not trying to make you all like, oh, something's really wrong with me. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. But here's the idea. That is a sign that something's changed. Now, for the majority of us, it could be related to something as easy as the fact that you haven't had enough water today. And this is an easy fix. We don't think about it, right? So when we come down, we come back up, what's happening is all the blood goes to our head. And then when we come up, the blood very quickly, because of gravity, pulls down. If for that particular day we haven't had enough fluids, we have a relative low blood pressure. This doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to some, especially if you're taking meds and medications. And that relative low blood pressure is that thing that doesn't let the blood come back quickly. It's just kind of like, oh, sluggish. And that's what could cause dizziness. Something as simple as noticing that, oh, maybe I should drink some water, making sure that you're drinking water, noticing if it's still happening instead of ignoring it like, oh, that wasn't anything. That was just, normal. Can actually help you prevent a bigger problem where you bend over, you come back up, you faint, knock your head on something, and now we've got a big problem. So it's not good. So anyway, I'm going to get off my little soapbox. But this is one of the reasons why we do what we do. Let's come into standing mountain, stepping into warrior one. Right foot comes forward, left foot comes back. We're working on balance and coordination. We firm the thighs. And each of us are working on your ability to breathe. One. We're working on paying attention. Breathe. Two. Oh, my computer says I'm a little bit unstable. My network's unstable, but my computer may not be all that off. Breathe. Three. What do you know, computer? Breathe. Four. So be mindful. Breathe. Five. From warrior one on this right side, we're going to move to warrior three. Put your eyes on something that's not moving. Your arms can stay up. They can go out to the side. Shift the weight. Tippy toe left. Firm through the thighs. Maybe raise that left foot. Maybe not. Breathe one wherever you are. Breathe two. We're just strong through the legs. Breathe three. Breathe four. Breathe five. Keep the breath. Slowly release. Back to warrior one. Breathe one. Two. Firm the left thigh from the right thigh. Breathe three. Lift the muscles that support your arches. Breathe four. And five. Slowly release the arms as you inhale and exhale. Step the left foot forward. Change. Warrior one on the left. Left foot is forward. Right foot is back. Even between both feet. Firm the thighs. Reach the arms. Head and neck in neutral. Hold. Breathe. One. Breathe. Two. Breathe, 3. Looking good, everybody. So the back foot is completely flat. Breathe 4 for warrior 1. Or you're trying for it to be that. Breathe 5. And that helps us. We're practicing lifting of the muscular arch and grounding and connecting ourselves. And then we work on warrior 3, where the arms can stay up, they can come out, they can come down, shifting. And now we tippy toe and how much we do. Breathe 2. We're working on feeling that strength. Breathe 3 through that left foot, ankle, knee, hip. 4. And keeping our breath steady. Breathe 5. And then slowly releasing back to our warrior 1. Hold, breathe 1. Yeah. Keep that position firm. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Release the arms. Step the right foot towards the left as you inhale and exhale. Let's find our super blocks. Our super blocks are so helpful, or our standard chair, whatever we've got, to keeping our body supported. The right foot steps forward, the left foot goes back, spine long. Make a muscle at the front thigh. Shoulders drop back and down, and then we drop and hold. So you're going to decide how far to go. Can you go to a place where you feel a stretch? Breathe 1 along that right posterior thigh or the buttock. Breathe 2 or your spine. Breathe 3. Each of us is unique. Breathe 4. How far we'll stretch, how much we feel. Breathe 5. We're going to hold for another 5 breaths. This is one of my favorite postures, 6. But it does demand balance and coordination, 7. Breathe, 8. 9. And 10. Placing your left hand on the left block or on the left side, left hand on your seat of your chair, right hand comes to your right hip. We pull the right hip back. The belly then turns to the right, the chest turns to the right, and then we decide to look to the right or up to the ceiling. We can reach the right arm back. So everybody check the back heel. If possible, we want that back foot also anchored. So if it needs to, it might move more closer to the center, and we reach. Breathe 1. So feel the opportunity arise for a stretch. Breathe 2. Through your lower legs, through your back of your thighs, through your hips. Breathe 3. Through the spine. Breathe 4. And breathe 5. Slowly release as you inhale and exhale. I'm going to move my block so that you can see that I would like us to dorsiflex through that right ankle and extend the toes, lift the toes up. Invert and evert. So the sole of the foot turns to the left, and then the foot turns from the ankle to the right. We're just going to move in and out. Breathe. Keep. We're dorsiflexing the ankle so that we can lift the sole of the foot off the mat. And notice what that feels like. It's a big stretch. It's not always the most comfortable at your heel, breathing. But I want to share with you that if you are a little uncomfortable, I can do a few things. One, just do a little bit and then take rest. Come back down and then come back up. We've got to get the nervous system to recognize that you're doing this on purpose and that it's not something to be concerned for. It's that sensitivity will actually get less as you keep practicing, as I call, repeat the offensive activity. Okay, so now let's step that right leg, right foot back, and switch. Left foot comes forward, spine long, firm the thighs, our intense side stretch, drop, cascade over with the body. To get your big stretch, let the head, let the shoulders, let the body rest down. Breathe 1. Check both feet. Can you have both feet anchored on the mat? Breathe 2. Can you firm the thighs in front of both right and the left thigh? Breathe 3. Can you direct your attention to maintaining smooth rhythmic breathing? 4. Can you use either the chair, your blocks, for support? Breathe 5. See, the support is really important. Some of you can put your hands on the mat, but breathe 6. When the body, the structures, the muscles, the nervous system feels that it's supported, this is Nydia's hypothesis, and I've just seen it over and over again. The body tends to trust you. And in that trust, it allows for more lengthening to occur if we're stretching. Breathe 7. Or the strengthening to occur if we are working on that strength. 8. Breathe 9. I am a supporter, a proponent of support for the body to help it achieve flexibility, strength, mobility. Right hand comes onto the right block, left hand comes to your left hip, keep strong through the legs, the left hip pulls back, right hip moves forward relatively, belly turns to the left, chest and heart turns to the left. We look to the left or we look up to that ceiling, reach the left arm back. We're squeezing between the shoulder blades or reaching the left arm skyward. Breathe 1. Notice the influence of the breath, breathe 2, on your rib cage. Or let's say it the other way. Notice the influence of your rib cage, your chest, on your ability to breathe. 3. It's not that easy. 4. 5. Left hand comes down as you inhale and exhale. Let's go into, I'll move my block, dorsiflexion of that left ankle, extension of the toes, inversion, sole of the foot faces the right, eversion, sole of the foot faces out to the left. Inversion, eversion. Keep breathing in and out. Keep the breath steady, moving right to left or turning the sole of the foot into the center and then out to the side. As you inhale and exhale, now slowly release. And with your hands on your blocks, step the left foot back, elevated downward dog. Gently now come forward, bend your knees. Plantar-flex the ankles. This is a great time. We're going to do our sitting thunderbolt posture, and some of us use our block. So this is a great time for those of you who do use your block behind you to place it. Maybe you use your block in a blanket, or maybe you use a blanket only. I'm going to move our camera in a moment, but wherever you are, hold, find that position, move forward a little bit more, or move the block back just a little bit. That way the block is just right underneath your ischial tuberosities, right underneath, there you go. And what that does is it allows you to bring the thighs so that they could be more aligned. So this is one of the things, and I'll turn my body so y'all can see this. However we're positioning ourselves, if we notice that the thighs are way out here, then I'm going to want to ask you if we can change that. And sometimes it means using support. So if I put my block right underneath my hip bones, so notice that my block is not extended between my thighs. For me personally, that makes it really hard to sit well, and it kind of, ouch, hurts my inner thigh muscles. So I bring it just back behind me where we call them the sit bone. Put those down on the block, and then I try to bring my thighs. Now, I'm not trying to get them real close because then that's really not in their alignment. Just parallel, and the body's tall. Breathe. How do you know if it's time to get a little bit lower? Well, if this feels relatively very comfortable and you're like, oh, this is nice, I could be here all day, then it might be time for a little bit of a reduction. So if you're using the super blocks, you might then say, well, What happens if I flatten, put the block on this flat face? When you come to sitting, same thing. Do you notice stretch, stretch, and can you breathe and hold this position? And if you can, then that's you know that you're in the right place. Now, if you notice that you have a lot of knee pain in doing so, then what's going on, possibly, remember, this is a hypothesis on my part. I can only guess what may be happening in your body. But if you went from here, you were comfortable, to here, ow, that bothers my knees, then I'm going to ask you, stay up there. We need more time for the thigh muscle, the quadriceps, to elongate. When we go too quickly, and if it hurts your knees when we do this, and it's not related to the fact that you're on a concrete floor kind of thing, it's like, ooh, that really bothers my joint, then it's telling me that the muscles are tight and they're pulling that kneecap too forcefully. They're forcing it into the front, and it's kind of irritating. We don't want any of that. Some of us will say, well, that was nice. I'm going to stay right here. And others will say, well, what would happen if I try to sit on my heels? And for some, that's possible. Others, oh, I'm going to use a blanket. And so you just want to listen, because now as we go a little bit deeper, there's a bigger stretch possibly in the ankles and foot, and we just want to notice. For those of you who do this with me, and each of you have done this with me regularly before, notice how I like to start telling all sorts of stories and give you background when we get into this posture. Because this is one of the postures that I hope that each of you will do very regularly. When you're ready, come out. And in that regular practice, come to sitting. I'm going to move my camera. When you do that regularly, it's a very natural way to mobilize your lower body in a way that could really be transformative. Let's take the legs, stretch them out in front of you. I'm reaching for my strap, and I'm hiding from myself over here. Dorsiflex the ankles. A moment ago, when you were sitting on your blocks, we were getting a big stretch to the quadriceps. Keep breathing. Now I'm going to ask us for a big stretch to the hamstring, the calf muscles, the flexors of the ankle and foot, and the spine. We start with the strap. This is our variation of intense west stretch. I like to start with the understanding of the strength that we have potential through our shoulder girdle for stability in our upper body and our head and neck. So we're working. That's why one of the reasons we use the strap is to have a nice ability to invite the upper body into this posture. Now I'm pushing my feet into the strap. I'm also pushing my feet out to the side. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going to, give a little slack here. It's like I'm moving my legs out, but they're not moving. I'm resisting them out to the side. Breathe. While I lengthen my spine, shoulders back and down, breathe. And the bending that I want to do is coming from my hips. So go to the edge of your stretch, breathe. 1. Body still relatively neutral, upright, breathe. 2. That means that I'm not flexing at my spine, breathe. 3. But I've hinged from my hips as far as I can, breathe. 4. And 5. Now, keeping the position, allow your spine, if it feels appropriate, to bend forward. Keep the breath, so dorsiflexing the ankles, pushing the heels away, lifting the toes towards you. Breathe. 1, letting the head drop over. Breathe. 2. Notice how this feels similar and yet different than what we started with. Breathe. 3. Breathe. 4. And 5. Inhale and exhale, come back up, release the strap. I love to follow that with our reverse plank where the hands come back wide, thumbs and fingers. Anchor, elbows bent, and push through the heels. Firm the thighs, the buttocks. Lift the chest. It doesn't matter if you do anything, if you lift anything at all, but I want you to push the mat. Lift your chest. Firm your buttocks, firm your thighs, push the heels into the mat and hold. Breathe one. So staying right here, retract the head. Breathe two. Feel strong through the arms. Breathe three. It's as if you were lifting. Breathe four. This is how we develop the beginning of the endurance and muscle strength. Turn the right thigh out. Reach for your strap. Bend forward. Hold. Breathe one. Two. Three. Four. Five. We're going to go for five more. Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. Inhale, come up. Bring that right foot down onto the mat again, but give yourself some space. So I'll turn so that you can see that right foot is not completely close to that left shin or thigh. It's about a hand distance. That's on purpose because we're going to bring that right hip back a little bit, the right arm back, left arm to the shin, and extend the spine. So notice how instead of being rounded flexed, I'm going to come back a little bit, extend, then turn. The hip started first, and turn my belly and chest to the left, to the right. And then I'm going to look over that right shoulder. Anchor the shoulders. Breathe. One. Come back to your awareness. Breathe. Two. Breathe. Three. Four. Five. Inhale, look forward, and exhale. Release that right thigh. Now let's bend the left knee. I'll turn my body around and drop that left thigh out to the side so we can get that big deep stretch that we did earlier. Reach your strap, reach your hands forward to that foot and drop over. This is our seated head to knee pose. Breathe. One. Two. Once again, here are awareness practices. Breathe. Three. I want you to focus on your ability to get into the place where you can feel a stretch. Four. And you can still breathe. Five. Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Now that left foot comes onto the mat. We have some space between the foot and the thigh. And we invite that left hip back. Left arm reaches back. Spine is long. The right arm reaches across. The spine is long because we want to create extension. So this is important. If you notice that you're still really flexed here, then I'm going to ask you to bring that arm back a little bit more and try to get that extension because we're working on creating space between the segments in the vertebra. Nice. So, and you might feel like, oh my goodness, I'm all, extended. Well, yay, good. That's what I want you. Extend and then rotate. Look over that left shoulder. We want to create the space. Breathe one in your spinal segments as well as in your torso. Breathe two. Breathe three. Breathe four. Breathe five. Nice. So you inhale and exhale. Ah, just feel that sensation. The ribs, the belly, the chest, everything being influenced by this position. Inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, releasing, turning towards your legs as we inhale and exhale, slowly lowering down onto the mat, breathing, keeping the breath. We're going to do a low boat pose. So what that means is take a moment to rest your head, your shoulders for a moment on the mat, knees are bent. It's kind of like what you might know as a kind of a sit-up. But I want you to listen carefully to your breath. Feet, knees are bent, feet are on the mat, head and shoulders on the mat. We're going to reach the arms forward. You can hold onto the thighs or just reach towards the knees. Use the strength, stability of your neck muscles. We're going to engage your abdominals. Inhale. As you exhale, roll the shoulders off the mat and reach the hands. Breathe one. This is a variation of a low boat pose. Breathe two. We feel the abdominals working. Breathe three. The neck muscles working. Breathe four. Notice that breathing is not nearly as easy. Breathe five. And now slowly lower down. Head, shoulders. Yeah, it's one of those things where we work through. Now, oftentimes I've had individuals come and say, oh, Nydia, somebody told me never to do that. It's bad for my neck. I can't, speak for everybody, but I will say that we were designed to use the muscles in the front of the neck and the torso, the abdominals, to coordinate so that we could do this. Now, every person is different, and some individuals may have a history, and they may need to be a little bit more to progress more slowly. And those situations really should be under the care of a qualified physical therapist who can help them develop that stability as they prepare them. But for the majority of us, living our life on the planet, keep breathing, here we go. You should reach the arms, be able, reach, lift the head and shoulders, breathe two, to do something like this, breathe three, without it incapacitating you. Breathe four, and if you can't, then we need to get you into the hands of someone to help you to develop that strength. Slow, lower. Very important, wide fingers and palms. Press the head, back at the head into the mat. Press the arms into the mat. Press the feet into the mat. Firm your buttocks and lift the hips if it's honorable to you. I like to walk my shoulders down towards my hips. Breathe one. Firm the buttocks. Breathe two. Notice once again that breathing's not nearly as easy here. Breathe three. Can you firm the thigh muscles? Breathe four. Feel the stretch through the front of the body. Breathe five. Now, if you're feeling good, take the arms up. Let's move into our therapeutic bridge part four. Extend the wrists. Breathe. Bend the elbows and place the palms onto the mat right next to our shoulders if possible. Maybe our hands, fingers just touch right here. That's where you're starting. Breathe one. Do what you can. Breathe two. Keep firming the backside. Breathe three. If the hands are flat on the mat next to you, your shoulders, breathe four. Keep them there as long as your shoulders, elbows, wrists, and hands feel okay. Now slowly, if they're still flat on the mat, keep them there as you lower your hips down. Notice if that changes anything in your shoulders, elbows, wrists. Keep pressing the hands into the mat. The hips are now on the mat. The head is on the mat. And if it honors you, keep pushing through those hands, arms, and head is on the mat. Arch your upper middle back. Breathe 1. Take your time. Each person's different. Breathe 2. Breathe 3. We're mobilizing into extension. Breathe 4. Pressing those hands. The head is lightly placed on the mat. Breathe 5. And then slowly controlling your body back down. If it was lifted, breathing, hugging. Let's first take the hands out of their position. Circle the wrists in one direction. Circle the wrists and fingers moving in the other direction. Open and close the hands. Take the palms together. Circle the wrists. For those of you who are doing a lot of activities, gardening, typing, crafting, cooking, reverse the circles. This is a really good little break to have for your forearms, your wrists, and hands. Inhale and exhale, open and close. The fingers hug the right knee into chest, stretch the left leg away from your center. Firm the left buttock, firm that left thigh. Dorsiflex both ankles, breathe. So notice what you feel here. Okay, we're going to take the left hand. Some of us might use a strap, but if you can, I want you to test right now. We're doing a test. Can you take your left hand and hold on to your right foot? Good. Now, dorsiflex that ankle. This is important. If you can take your left hand to hold on to your right foot, put your right hand on your knee joint and begin to invite the thigh, breathe, to go to the left and to the right. We're massaging, we're mobilizing. So I'm going to change my position so that you can see what this looks like from the top of my head. And I'm just moving across the body. Breathe. Inhale and exhale. Very important action, this mobilizing. But if you remember, dorsiflex the ankle. Hold on. Notice how the thigh muscle is responding. Are you holding your breath? Breathing. Now, bend the left knee. Place that right ankle over the left thigh. You're still holding onto that foot. Invite that thigh out. Notice how there is a moment of trying to pull that right foot towards you as the right thigh goes out. And so it's not this, but rather put that heel on that left thigh. Now say to that thigh, move away from me. You go that way. There you go. Hold. This is figure 4 position. Hold. And now with that right heel on that left thigh, just rotate in and out. We're moving through that hip joint. And I want you to notice how that hip joint is moving. And then from there, keep pressing that right thigh away, dorsiflex the ankle. Some of you will hug the left thigh into your chest and hold. Breathe. And if you're not able to hold that leg up, close to you, this is a great time to use some of the things around you. Like if you were using a chair for your intense side stretch, when we did that hamstring stretch, you could put your feet up on a chair, on a block, or on a piece of furniture, or up on a wall, especially when you're at home and you're like, oh, I can do that. Sometimes I'll put my heel up on a wall, and I'll say, okay, I can do that. Okay, I can do that. And then with that heel on the wall, I'll begin to lower that foot. And what happens is it kind of presses me into this position. So that's just some of the techniques that could be beneficial. When you're ready, releasing that left foot down, uncrossing that right ankle. And now here we go. We're going to explore reaching the right hand to that left foot. And I'm going to straighten out my right leg. And just move that left thigh, mobilizing left to right. Good. Do the best you can. Maybe you're not able to reach for that foot. I want you to dorsiflex the ankle. Maybe you're able to reach for the lower leg, the shin bone. So do the best you can. This is a test, by the way, of your mobility if you can reach for that right hand to that left foot. So don't worry if you're like, oh no, I'm failing. Don't worry. Nobody's going to grade you. But I want you to come back to this type of motion in the next 6 months, see how it's going. And especially if someone has just started these practices. You'd be amazed if you do this on a regular basis, what you can gain. Hold steady, breathe, inhale and exhale. Now we bend that right knee, place the left ankle over, and with the left ankle over that right thigh, we're going to internally and externally rotate. So I just want you to notice turning in and out. And we're mobilizing through that hip joint. Ladies and gentlemen, when we do these activities, I want you to gain motion, strength, flexibility, yes, it's true, but I really want you to gain awareness. Pay attention. How does the hip joint feel? Is it moving freely? Breathe. If it's not, what's going on there? Let's not ignore it. Hold steady. You can stay right there. Some of you who know this position can take the right thigh. Hold. Breathe. The hip joint is a very important joint. Knees, hips, ankle, I mean, every part of you is precious. But there's a big influence if the hip muscles are tight. It can influence your spine, it can influence your knees, it can definitely impact your function in your life. Slowly release, uncross that left ankle. Finding now your blankets getting upside down. So if you choose, legs up. So feet on the blanket, lift the hips, legs up. Breathe. For those of you who already know you're moving into your aromatherapy, you can reach for your aromatherapy, and I will come about the room here. Let your body just rest. We're going to lift our hips up off the blanket now and let our arms and legs rest. Let the head, the shoulders, the arms release and relax. Keep your awareness on your breathing. Very gently moving fingers and toes, bringing awareness. We let the body rest for a moment to kind of settle back into our normal state. Bend the knees and slowly roll onto your side, coming into the seated posture. And we close with one long, strong Om, mindful, aware, connected, blessed beyond all comprehension. Inhale. Inhale, reach the arms skyward, gently place the palms together, move them past the mind's eye, drop them down with heart center. Blessings to each of you. Thank you for moving, breathing, being mindful and attentive. We're practicing awareness of how our body moves so that we can recognize our breath and the connection between our breath, our mind, our spirit, our whole being. This is how we care for ourselves, one breath at a time. Be well, everybody. Namaste.